Everything is possible to those who believe, sabi ni Jesus, Mark 9:23. What about the possibilities of unbelief as belief? Kasi syempre yung belief is belief, but unbelief is also a form of belief. Negated lang nga. What can unbelief and unbelievers do? Ang pag-aaral natin pinamagatang walang kokontra. Mark 6:1-6. Umalis doon si Jesus at umuwi siya sa sariling bayan kasama ang kanyang mga alagad. Pagdating ng araw ng pamamahinga, si Jesus ay nagturo sa sinagoga. Maraming tao ang nakarinig sa kanya at sa kanilang pagkamanghay, nagtatanungan sila. Saan niya natutunan ang lahat ng yan? Anong karunungan itong ipinagkaloob sa kanya? Paano siya nakagagawa ng mga himala? Hindi ba ito ang karpinterong anak ni Maria at kapatid ni na Santiago, Jose, Judas at Simon? Taga rito rin ang kanyang mga kapatid na babae, di ba? Anong karunungan itong ipinagkaloob sa kanya? Paano siya nakakagawa ng mga himala? Ang ibig nilang sabihin, saan niya natutunan ang lahat ng yan? And really, in application, this is setting limits by location and space. Yung pwede ang isagot kung saan-saan, doon niya natutunan yan. Sa gilid-gilid, sa sulok-sulok, sa guni-guni. Pwedeng sabihin pa ng iba, sa impyerno. Itong kung saan-saan na tanong na ito, pwedeng sagutin ng sa questionable places and sources. At bakit tayo nag-iisip ng ganyan? Bantayan natin because this line of thinking will build up. Yang mga tanong na yan, double-edged, hindi lang paghanga. Merong pwede kang mabasang mali siya sa tanong. Pwede rin kasi sabihin na, sabi nila, anong karunungan itong ipinagkaloob sa kanya? Now, this could be read as setting limits by identification and classification. Kasi anong karunungan? Pwede nga isagot, kabalbalan na karunungan, fake na karunungan. And soon, they will really say this. Yung mga takbo ng tanong na yan, doon talaga pupunta sa ganung mga sagot. Paano siya nakakagawa ng mga himala? Another question. Again, this could be setting limits by method, by methodology. Kasi pwede ang isagot by trickery, by magic, by dangerous means, or therefore this is dangerous, or by illusion. Pag gano'n ang isinagot mo, the question sets limits to Jesus. Kaya sila nagtatanong hindi para maghanap ng sagot, kundi para limitahan ang pwedeng isagot na pwedeng mapaliit nila si Jesus at mapaliit yung ministry. That's very, very possible. It's a very, very possible reading. And take note, because soon, magicians will buy or will try to buy the technology of the miracles of Jesus na bibilhin na nila sa mga disciples later. Of course, hindi naman sila pinagbilhan. Pero iniisip nilang ganyan mga bagay. At yung question na, hindi ba ito ang karpinterong anak ni Maria at kapatid ni na Santiago, Jose, Judas at Simon? This could be read as setting limits by identity and identification because Jesus was already becoming known as a great person. Pero by remembering and by trying to recall yung kanya kamag-anak, sino-sino mga kamag-anak nila, nakasamahan lang nila, kababata nila, ka-village lang nila, pwede nila uling ibalik si Jesus dun sa simpleng katayuan bago siya kinikilala na isang dakilang tao. So, pwede naman kasi na ang sagot, di ba karaniwan lang ang pamilya nila? Di ba may kapintasan din sila, kilala natin sila? At yung question na, taga rito rin ang kanyang mga kapatid na babae, hindi ba? Once more, this could be setting limits by place or by placement, by localization or familiarization. Dahil sinasabi nila, taga rito lang sila sa atin. Bakit siya magiging iba? Katulad lang natin siya. Pero bakit di na siya ma-reach? Bakit kala mo na kung saan na siya nakarating? Kasi sasabihin ng mga tao, dapat reach din natin sila. At siya specifically. Kasi kababata lang natin, kasama lang natin, kilala natin ang mga magulang, kilala natin ang mga kapatid. At yung tanong na, anong karunungan itong ipinagkaloob sa kanya? This could be setting limits by identification, classification, colorization of the knowledge. Kasi pwede ang sagot, di magic, trickery lang yan, hocus-pocus lang yan. So pwede nilang mapaliit ang already was becoming large image of Jesus. Tapos may tanong sila, paano siya nakakagawa ng mga himala? This could be setting limits by method again and by methodology because the answer could be by trickery, by illusion. Kaya't sila'y nagduda sa kanya at siya'y hinamak nila. See ang ending? Lahat ng question nila, hindi nag-conclude na, therefore Jesus is glorious, therefore Jesus is great, therefore Jesus is the Son of God, therefore Jesus is above them. No. Ang naging bunga, therefore Jesus is just like them, therefore hindi siya dapat umarte-arte ng ganon. Jesus is probably even just beneath them dahil siguro yung pagtukoy nila sa mga kapatid ni Jesus, sa pamilya ni Jesus, patingin pababa, yung looking down on them. Kasi maaaring ang iba sa nagsasalita, socially superior sa position kaysa sa pamilya ni Jesus. Remember, ask and you will receive. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. And by asking those questions, and by trying to supply the answers in a quiet way, that's what they asked for. That's why they sought. That's why they knocked for. Napagbuksan sila ng unbelief. Sa pagtatanong nila na yon, actually ang binuo nila is unbelief in Jesus, not belief. Unbelief was what they initially had, and unbelief was what they chose to pursue all the way. They observed, kung gagamitin natin ang mga terminologies ng quantum physics, at kung gagamitin naman natin ang terminology ng spirituality, they prayed. They observed, they prayed for unbelief. Ask, seek, and you will find, and they got it. At sabi niya mismo ni Jesus, you harvest what you plant. Sa ganung mga tanong pa lang, nag-harvest na sila dahil ang ipinaplant nila, doubt. Kahit ngayon, pag kami mga gustong manglait sa mga preacher, sa mga teacher, sa mga religious leaders, tatanungin din nila the same questions. Saan ba yan? Di ba kilala natin yan? Ano bang background yan? Kilala ko pinsan yan. Kilala ko ang dati niyang kasintahan. Kilala ko ang mga kamag-anak niyan para pababain ang imahe ng isang tao na maaaring sa tingin ng iba at sa konsiderasyon ng iba ay tumataas o kaya ay mataas. Such questions can be loaded with malice. At dahil dito, sinabi ni Jesus sa kanila, ang isang propeta ay ginagalang ng lahat, maliban ang kanyang mga kababayan, mga kamag-anak, at mga kasambahay. So nakita natin na yung mga pagtanong na yun talaga ay hindi galang, kundi kawalan ng paggalang. Hindi naghahanap ng dahilan para maniwala, kundi naghahanap ng dahilan para hindi maniwala. At sa totoo lang, sabi ni Jesus, sa pagtutuloy ng kwento, hindi siya nakagawa ng himala roon, maliban sa ilang may sakit na pinatungan niya ng kanyang kamay at pinagaling. Anong nangyari? Si Jesus nagaling sa isang himala moment outside of that town. Siya ay sinusundan, siya ay pinagkakaguluhan sa kanyang sariling bayan. Sabi ng Bible, hindi siya nakagawa. Remember, hindi sinabing hindi siya gumawa. Hindi siya nakagawa. Dahil sa kakulangan ng pananampalataya at sa panglalait pa nga sa kanya ng mga tao. Mark 6:5, sabi sa Ingles ng same story, he could not do any miracles there. The Bible did not say he did not. Sabi, he could not do any miracles there. The Living Bible says, and because of their unbelief, he couldn't do any mighty miracles among them. At sa pagpapatuloy ng binabasa natin kaninang Tagalog version, nagtakas siya dahil hindi sila naniwala sa kanya. Sa quantum physics, may tinatawag na observer effect. The intensity of the observation being done, or the number of observers expecting an outcome, will affect the probability of a particle's state or outcome. In this case, since more people were observing or expecting that Jesus was just an ordinary person, or doubting him, or not in agreement with what Jesus set out to do, then no miracle or not many miracles became the reality. So what became the major reality? Yung nilait nila si Jesus, minaliit nila, so walang naganap na malaking himala. As you can see, obviously, may participation yung mga tao, yung mga observers sa pagbuo ng outcome. And because they were expecting, they were wanting, they were probably even demanding that Jesus would not be able to do anything great. Jesus could not do anything much. Nagtaka siya. Bakit ayaw maniwala ng mga tao? Ano naging bunga? Konti lang ang napagaling. Marami pa sanang mapapagaling, pero yung mga tao, nakakontra. Kaya ang pamagat ng ating pag-aaral, walang kokontra. Kasi yung mga kontrabida, may bearing, may effect sila sa buhay natin. Sa observation na tinatawag ng quantum physics, the quality of agreement, the quantity of observers, and the quantity of time or frequency of observation affect the outcome. Sa quantum physics yun. At parallel in spirituality, spiritual agreement, unity affect the outcome of the prayer. Kaya mahalaga sa church, unity. Mahalaga sa family, unity. Mahalaga sa isang grupo, sa isang kumpanya, sa community, sa isang bansa, unity. Kasi pag may kontra, naaapektuhan nila yung magandang pwedeng gawin ng mga kinokontra nila. Suliranin yan sa churches, suliranin sa mga pamilya, kahit sa bansa. Maraming mga nangongontra doon sa may mga gustong gawing mabuti at whether we like it or not, may effect ang kanilang pangongontra. Hindi nga lang nila nadaig si Jesus kasi si Jesus yun eh. Talagang napaka-powerful ni Jesus kahit ang dami-dami-dami nila. Napaka-solid ng kanilang resistance at pangongontra na kapag himala pa rin si Jesus, may mga gumaling pa rin. Hindi lang nga marami. Nadaig pa rin sila ng power ni Jesus. Kaya lang sa buhay natin, meron talagang effect ang kontrabida. Matthew 18:19-21. Again, truly I tell you, if two of you on earth agree about anything they ask for, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. So you see, pinapakita dito ni Jesus sa mahalaga yung agreement. If 2 or 3 agree. So kung may 2 or 3 who are in agreement, may observation yon in quantum physics at merong agreement in spirituality, mangyayari ang kanilang gustong mangyari. Kasi nagiging majority yung 2 or 3. Kung wala namang kumukontra, sila lang ang tao, eh di majority sila. 1 believer plus 1 believer, kasi 2 yun, at plus 1, kasi spiritual unity and agreement means the presence of Jesus, nagiging 3, which is a very good number for majority. For where 2 or 3 gather in my name, sabi ni Jesus, there I am with them. So 2 believers, 2 yan, plus 1, magiging 3, 2 or 3, plus 1, the name of Jesus, the spiritual unity in Jesus, which means the presence of Jesus, magiging 4. It's a very strong number for agreement, lalo kung wala present na mga nangongontra. Ano mga illustrations nitong katotohanan na ito na nakikita natin at nauunawa, lalo na kung tinitingnan din natin from the lenses of quantum physics. Of course, hindi siya superior sa katuruan ng Scripture, pero nakaparallel siya, nakakadagdag siya ng pag-unawa natin. Matthew 9:22-29. But if you can do anything, take pity on us and help us, sabi ng isang tao kay Jesus. If you can, said Jesus, everything is possible for one who believes. So one who believes plus Jesus na pinaniniwalaan is the majority. 1 plus Jesus, you plus Jesus are the majority. Immediately the boy's father exclaimed, I do believe, help me overcome my unbelief. So anong nakikita natin dito? Very ambivalent yung position ng tatay. Sabi niya, naniniwala siya, tapos nagpapatulong siya na palakasin ang kanyang pananalig. Ibig sabihin, here and there yung pananalig niya, hindi talaga ganun kalakas. So hindi siya magiging 1 plus Jesus. Baka 0.5 lang siya plus Jesus. Eh when 2 or 3 agree, so pag nakiki-agree kay Jesus, dapat buo ka. Dahil buo rin si Jesus, magiging 2 na kayo. Hindi dagdagan mo pa na isang agree din, 2 or 3 na kayo. Sabi niya ganun. whatever you ask, the Father will give you. That's the importance of being supported by people with the same belief, with the same faith. So there was initial but weak faith and weak belief on the part of the Father. Then the man asked for help, for support in the belief department kasi mahina siya doon. And interestingly, sa quantum physics, may sinasabing superposition. All possible states and outcomes exist simultaneously. Observation will collapse matter into just one state and outcome. The observer's intention freezes matter into one definite state and selects one outcome from all possible outcomes. In spirituality, everything is possible for those who believe. But first, you have to believe. And then you have to ask for it. You have to pray for it. You have to focus on it. You have to meditate on it, which in physics is called observation. So pagka ginawa mo yon, matutupad. Yun ang sinasabi ng Biblia at malinaw na paulit-ulit na sinasabi ni Jesus. The intention must be strong. Therefore, the man asked for support. Kasi mahina ang intention niya. Ang intention niya to believe. Ang intention niya to really actualize what he is believing in. When Jesus saw that a crowd was running to the scene, he rebuked the impure spirit. You deaf and mute spirit, he said, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again. The spirit shrieked, convulsed him violently, and came out. The boy looked so much like a corpse that many said, he's dead. Again, this is an observation. Probably a wish, a prayer, na dead na yung bata. At kung hindi lang malakas ang power ni Jesus, pwede nilang by numbers and in sheer numbers, ay matupad yung gusto nilang mangyari. Na mamatay nga yung bata. Kaya dapat hindi mo sinasabi yung mga ayaw mo mangyari. Yung ayaw mong matupad, huwag mong pinagsasasabi, pinag-iisip. Kasi may power yun. Observation in quantum physics, prayer in spirituality. Hindi lang nga natin na-appreciate na lahat ng iniisip, lahat ng tumatawid sa ating utak ay prayer din. Lalo't pag sinasabi, ang pinagpapaulit-ulit. But Jesus took him by the hand and lifted him to his feet, and he stood up. So this is a counter-observation with booster, touch. So the people were saying, he's dead. But Jesus, by touching the man, said, he is alive. At yun talaga ang nangyari. After Jesus had gone indoors, his disciples asked him privately, why couldn't we drive it out? He replied, this kind can come out only by prayer. Now, some later manuscripts, which were the basis of other versions of the Bible, says by prayer and fasting. But the reference used by the NIV is older than those newer references and materials, kaya sa NIV, prayer lang, walang fasting na sinabi. Apparently, the word fasting is not in the older documents on which NIV is based. So fasting is not in Mark, the primary source of all the other three Gospels. Tatandaan natin, pinakamatanda sa tatlong other Gospels, yung Mark. At sa Mark, walang fasting na sinabi. Prayer and fasting, in the case of those with weak faith and observation, can help effect a more intensified, focused, and increased faith and observation in quantity and quality. Bakit yung iba ay nagdadagdag pa ng fasting na hindi pa basta ng prayer? Kasi yung fasting can make you focus on what you're praying for. Hindi ka na nagluluto, naghahain, nagliligpit, hindi ka na namamalengke, hindi ka na preoccupied with many other things. So ang nangyayari, nakaka-focus ka. Plus, of course, there are other benefits of fasting na hindi naman yun ang topic natin ngayon. But primarily, fasting helps you focus more on what you're asking for, what you're praying for. Mas nakakapag-observe ka in terms of physics. So Jesus by himself, by his faith, did it. Kahit na marami mga kumukontra, dahil siya si Jesus at napakalakas sa kanyang pananalig sa Ama, naganap ang gusto niyang mangyari. In another narrative, Matthew 17:16-21, I brought him to your disciples, but they could not heal him. The same event, another narrative. You unbelieving and perverse generation, Jesus said, How long shall I stay with you? How long shall I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me. Jesus rebuked the demon and it came out of the boy. Parang yung sinasabi niya, tell this mountain to move and it will move. He rebuked the demon, it moved, it got out of the boy, and he was healed at that moment. Kaya sabi, tell this mountain to move and it will. Then the disciples came out to Jesus in private and asked, why couldn't we drive it out? He replied, because you have so little faith. Truly, I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. Pag sinuri natin ang kwentong ito, anong mga challenges niyan sa ating day-to-day, day-by-day faith? Unbelief, as prayer and observation, can make mountains stubborn, can affect matter, can negate belief. Yang kawalan ng pananalig, yang pangongontra sa pananalig ng nananalig, isa rin yung observation, para rin yung prayer. Pwede niyang patigasin yung bundok at magmatigas yung bundok na huwag gumalaw o hindi siya gagalaw agad. It can affect matter. Pwede yang kumontra sa naniniwala. Kaya mahalaga paramihan, palakasan, hanapan ng support. That's why it is important for those who pray, mahalaga ang unity and agreement. Kung nato kayo sa prayer meeting, hindi ka naman agree sa ipinagpe-pray, sa loob mo nakakontra ka, o may ibang nakakontra, o magkakaaway kayo doon, nagkakainisan kayo, magkakagalit kayo, kontra-kontra yung spirit nyo, di maninegate yung faith. Nagmamatigas yung bundok, humihirap siyang utusan. Stay away from unbelievers when you pray. Could this be one reason why Jesus usually prayed alone, in private, para walang mangontra? Kasi nga, kinontra siya sa sarili niyang bayan. Konti lang tuloy na himala ang nagawa niya. Could this be one reason why Jesus teaches us to pray alone, in private, para walang kontra? Kasi kahit sa ibang spiritual activities, mahalaga, laging sinasabi ng iba, walang kokontra. Kaya mahalaga ang spiritual unity. Sa churches, bakit ang daming unanswered prayers? Dahil ba sa unbelief, weak faith, disunity, divisions, kontra-kontra? Malamang. John 17:20-23, panalangin ni Jesus sa Ama, my prayer is not for them alone. I pray also for those who believe in me through their message, that all of them may be one. Father, just as you are in me, and I am in you. May they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. I have given them the glory that you gave me, that they may be one as we are one. I in them and you in me, so that they may be brought to complete unity. Then the world will know that you have sent me and have loved them even as you have loved me. In other words, sinasabi ni Jesus, ang dalangin ko, Ama, maging isa sila, magkaisa sila, para maunawaan nila yung pagkakaisa natin, at sa pagkakaisa natin, at pagkakaisa nila, at pakikiisa natin sa kanila. Mananalig sila sa lahat ng mga itinuro ko, at gagawin nila for their own benefit. Apply this sa family, sa community, sa country, sa world. Mahalaga may unity. Those who are united in prayer achieve so much more. So keep your prayer, your wish, your desire, your dreams, aspirations, and plans to yourself. Imbes i-share mo sa kokontra sa'yo. Share it only with people who agree with you. Kasi nga, may power yung kontra. Nakakapangontra sila. Huwag ka masyadong mag-share sa mga kokontra lang sa'yo. Una, sisirain nila yung loob mo, i-discourage ka nila. They might even do things physically to stop you from doing what you want to do. Kaya, mahalaga, you agree with people and people agree with you, at most of the time, yun ang sikapin mong kasama sa buhay. Keep your prayer away from contrast. Sabi nga sa Amos 3:3, do two walk together unless they have agreed to do so? And remember, Jesus could do only so much in the overwhelming presence of contrast. We know that Jesus prevailed, pero now, sana mas marami pang na-benefit yung mga tao doon kung hindi lang ang dami-daming nangongontra. Pero bakit nila kinokontra yung magandang bagay? Kinokontra nila yung himala, kinokontra nila yung pagpapagaling, kinokontra nila yung ministry ni Jesus. Why? Tulad din ng kung gusto mo ang mga tao ay maturuan, lumaya, lumuwag ang buhay, sumaya, may mangongontra sa'yo. Bakit nila kinokontra? Gusto nila yung mga tao patuloy na nakagapos, nakatali, malungkot, mabigat ang dalahin. At kahit sa, and especially sa miracles, mahalaga ang spiritual unity, cooperation, and support. This is why we pray for one another. There is power in numbers when there is unity in those numbers. Stay away from people who generally negate you, your faith, your prayer, your desire. Walk with those who agree with you. Live a lifestyle that agrees with your aspirations. Kasi nga, ang salita mo, ang action mo, ang lifestyle mo, prayer. Kaya tiyakin mo na ang kilos mo, action mo, lifestyle mo, in agreement with your prayer, or really are expressions of what you are praying for. Be with like-minded, like-spirited people. Philippians 2:1-2. Therefore, if you have any encouragement from being unified with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit, and of one mind. Sa church, sa family, sa country, dapat ang policy, lead, follow, or get out of the way. So, syempre, may nagli-lead. Anong gagawin ng iba? Follow, para may unity. Ngayon, you don't want to lead, and you don't want to follow, tapos nandun ka, di panggulo ka lang, kontra ka, panira, so get out of the way. Importanteng i-apply sa buhay. Maiksing kwento ang pinagmulan ng ating pag-aaral, pero maraming pinagsangahan para lalo nating ma-appreciate yung kahulugan ng walang kokontra. Sa pamilya, meron kayong kapatid, meron kayong member na meron siyang magandang gustong gawin para sa pamilya, huwag kontrahin, suportahan. Meron kang kaibigan na meron gustong gawing self-improvement, ayusin ang kanyang buhay, ilagay sa maayos ang kanyang pamumuhay, huwag kontrahin. Kasi yung pangontra natin may effect. At kung meron isang tao ang saya-saya, tapos bigla mong kukontrahin, di nabawasan mo yung saya niya. May negation na nangyari, may talabang yung pangongontra. Meron naman kasi mga tao, ang tagal-tagal nilang hindi in love, nung na-in love, di-discourage mo agad. O kaya, paminsan-minsan lang makakain ng masarap. Nung ipinost niya yung picture na masarap, sasabihin mo pa, ay, tataba ka dyan. Ay, hindi yan healthy. Paminsan-minsan, sisirain mo pa yung kanyang mood, kukontrahin pa. Huwag tayo nangungontra, especially kung ang mga tao ay naghahanap ng kaligayahan, kapayapaan, katahimikan, kasiyahan. Kasi ang buhay, punong-puno at tad-tad ng mga pagsubok. So when people find the chance, the space, the time to be happy, to be excited, to be joyful, huwag na tayong mangontra. Huwag na tayong laging merong better thing to say. Huwag na lagi tayong merong wiser thing to advise. Sakay na lang tayo, lalo't hindi naman masama yung ginagawa at hindi naman makakasama. At remember, huwag niyong i-share ang inyong mga dreams, ang inyong mga aspirations sa mga taong kokontra lang. May effect din sila sa inyo, baka masira kayo ng loob, o baka sila mismo ang pumigil sa inyo tumarang. Share it with people who will agree with you. Especially kung sure na kayo na tama yun, maganda yun. Pero kung hindi kayo sure, of course, you have to share it with people who will not always agree with you so that you will find balance in what you are thinking about. Pero generally, sabi sa Amos, the two walk together unless they have agreed to do so. So do not walk with people as a rule, as a matter of general rule in life. Do not walk with people who always disagree with you. Walang mangyayari. Uubos ang energy mo. Kapo-prove, ka-explain, kako-convince. And ikaw din, huwag ka maging kontrabida sa buhay ng iba. Sa mga ginagawa ng mga tao na makakapag-improve ng kanilang buhay, huwag mangontra. At saka, lagi nating isuporta ang ating mga kapatid, kamag-anak, kaibigan, katrabaho, 'pag positive yung ginagawa nila. Whether we like it or not, ang pangongontra natin nagiging prayer. Kung may talab yun, tumatalab din, nakakabawas din sa magandang effect nung dapat ay mangyayari dun sa taong may ginagawang mabuti. Kung hindi tayo makakatulong, get out of the way. Para huwag tayong maging abala. Tulad nung naging abala yung mga tao sa bayan ni Jesus sa kanyang paghihimala, konti lang tuloy ang nakinabang. Ano ang applications ng mga katuruang ito sa ating buhay? Pagbulay-bulayan, pag-isip-isipan, balik-balikan, at pakinabangan. God bless us all.